Welcome to the Secret History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Julianne Kupka, at 17 years old, survivor of a plane accident that occurred in 1971. After the plane in which she traveled was struck by lightning over the Amazon rainforest. Strapped to her seat, she fell from a height of approximately 3 kilometers, which is about 1.9 miles. And impressively survived the impact. A German leader closely observing a model of the Mercedes-Benz W954 Grand Prix race car in 1938. The vehicle, one of the most advanced of its time, represented the height of German automotive engineering, with aerodynamic design and a powerful engine that dominated European competitions. In 1943, while the Second World War intensified, the residents of Hornsey in London faced great difficulties due to rationing and the shortage of resources. To ease the problem, the government launched a recycling campaign that encouraged the population to gather newspapers, cans, and glass for reuse in industry. The fishing boat New England appears completely covered by a thick layer of ice on the coast of British Columbia in 1916. The photograph, made by Leonard Frank, records the impact of extreme winter conditions on local vessels. Nurses walk among the arches of a hospital in France in 1917. Wearing white uniforms and traditional caps, they provided care to the wounded during the First World War. The setting shows stone corridors and a quiet atmosphere marked by the effort and compassion of these professionals. A rare photograph shows a traffic incident that occurred in the Netherlands more than 100 years ago. The image records carriages and one of the first automobiles involved in a collision, surrounded by curious onlookers watching the scene. The cobblestone streets and the clothing of the time help place the event in the beginnings of the automobile era. A female police officer inspecting the length of a woman's bathing suit on a beach during the 1920s, a reflection of the strict clothing rules of the time. Public morality laws determined that women's swimwear should cover a significant part of the body, and violating these rules could result in a fine or jail. A rare photograph of the Grand Prix of 1912, one of the first automobile events of great prominence at the time. The image shows the drivers and their cars lined up on the track, ready for the race, with spectators watching around them. The process, known as log driving, consisted of guiding the logs down the rivers to the processing sites. The image shows men balancing on the floating logs, demonstrating skill and courage in a high-risk job. This activity was essential for supplying the sawmills and for the growth of the region's timber industry. Londoners adapting to the new reality of 1939, displaying the so-called air raid shelter fashion at the beginning of the Second World War. Men and women appear dressed in practical clothing, combining elegance and functionality to face air attacks and the long hours in underground shelters. The future Queen Elizabeth II appears as a young woman in 1942 during the years of the Second World War. At the time, she served in the Auxiliary Territorial Service, receiving training in mechanics and driving military vehicles. John McCain with his squadron in 1965 during his service as a pilot in the United States Navy. McCain, still young, appears next to his flight companions, all dressed in aviation uniforms and helmets, in a moment of preparation and military camaraderie. The image shows demonstrators from the Socialist Unity Party of Germany during the Berlin blockade in 1948, one of the first major confrontations of the Cold War. An anatomy class held in 1920 shows students gathered around a study table, watching the instructor attentively. The environment is simple, with instruments and anatomical models used for medical teaching at the time. A soldier gets a shoe shine on 125th Street in New York in the year 1946. The scene shows urban daily life right after the end of the Second World War, when many service members returned to civilian life. The environment is busy, with people passing by and stores in the background, reflecting the city's vibrant pace. A rabbit race held in Los Angeles in 1930 attracted curious onlookers and bettors in search of entertainment. The event, known as the Rabbit Run, reflected the taste of the time for unusual competitions and popular amusements. Excavators working on the foundations of the Louvre Museum in Paris during the 1980s, when the old tower of King Philip Augustus, dated to the 12th century, was discovered. The archaeologists appear carefully removing layers of earth and revealing the stone walls that were part of the original fortress built to protect the medieval city. An unemployed worker is photographed during the Great Depression holding a public safety sign. Wearing simple clothing and with a serious expression, he represents the difficult reality of millions of people who lost their jobs in the 1930s. Safety and social assistance campaigns emerged as a response to growing unemployment and poverty. Buzz Aldrin records the first self-portrait made in space in 1966. The image was captured during NASA's Gemini 12 mission, showing the astronaut floating with the Earth in the background. Wearing his spacesuit and equipped with a camera, Aldrin demonstrates the control and precision required in activities outside the capsule. Niels Bohlin, a Swedish engineer at Volvo, responsible for the invention of the modern V-shaped seatbelt created in 1959. Different from earlier models, Bohlin's design used 3 points of attachment, securing the chest and the hip in a safe and comfortable way, which drastically reduced the number of injuries. The first McDonald's unit opened in 1948 in the city of San Bernardino in California. The small restaurant, founded by brothers Richard and Maurice McDonald, presented an innovative concept of quick service and a simple menu focused on hamburgers, French fries, and milkshakes. The original Taco Bell menu, created in the 1960s, reflecting the humble beginning of the chain that would later become one of the largest fast food brands in the world. The menu was simple, with few items and affordable prices. Tacos cost only a few cents, and the dishes were inspired by Mexican cuisine adapted to the American palate. The downtown area of Rotterdam in the Netherlands almost completely destroyed after the air bombing that occurred on May 14, 1940. The attack devastated a large part of the urban area, reducing historic buildings, homes, and businesses to rubble and ashes. In the photograph, it is possible to see streets filled with debris and charred structures, symbolizing the scale of the destruction. The morning when Sweden changed the direction of traffic to the right side in 1967. The moment became known for marking a major transformation in the country's transportation. The image records orderly streets and people adapting to the new rule. Albert Einstein during his visit to Lincoln University in the United States. He went to the place upon learning that it was the first university in the country to offer courses for black students. The meeting took place as a gesture of support for education and equal opportunities. Joseph Ratzinger in 1965, before becoming Pope Benedict XVI. He appears young, during the period in which he worked as a professor and theologian in Germany. The record was made at a time of important studies and religious reflections. Hollow Horn Bear, a man of a Native American people, recorded in 1907. He appears wearing traditional outfits that represent his culture and identity. The image was made during a period of important historical transformations. Maori women of New Zealand in 1902, during an important moment in local history. They appear in traditional clothing that represents the identity and cultural heritage of their people. The record was made during a period of great social and cultural changes. The woman portrayed in this photograph from 100 years ago wears a traditional outfit that indicates her origin in the nobility of Mongolia. The richly ornamented garments, with heavy fabrics and elaborate adornments, reflect the high social status and the cultural traditions of the time. Portrait of a woman of royalty of African origin, made in 1902. She wears traditional clothing with fine details and adornments that indicate a high social position. The portrait shows features of pride and serenity, typical of the formal photographs of the period. The Pantheon in Rome, recorded in the year 1860. The monument appears in its original form, preserving details of ancient architecture. The image reveals the grandeur of the columns and the dome that enchant visitors to this day. Canyon de Chelly in Arizona, made in 1900, shows one of the most impressive landscapes of the southwestern United States. The imposing rock formations surround a valley where small indigenous structures can be seen in the background. Frida Kahlo at 5 years of age in 1912 in Mexico. She appears still a child, long before becoming one of the most well-known artists in the world. The record reveals a simple moment of childhood, surrounded by elements typical of the time. Robert J. Lincoln, son of Abraham Lincoln, at 78 years of age in 1922. He appears being helped up the steps during the dedication ceremony of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, District of Columbia. The moment marked an important tribute to the memory of his father. Empress Alexandra Feodorovna of the Russian Empire with her daughters, recorded in 1910. They appear in elegant attire that reflects the style and protocol of the court of the time. The image was made in a moment of calm before great historical transformations. The winner of a beauty contest held in New York in 1922. She appears wearing elegant clothing and the characteristic style of the time. The image reflects the glamour and enthusiasm of the first beauty events in the United States. The image shows a Most Beautiful Legs contest held in Paris in the year 1950, reflecting the light and glamorous spirit of the post-war period in the French capital. The participants appear lined up on a stage, showing only their legs, while the rest of the body remains hidden by a numbered panel. A curious and elegant way to preserve the identity of the contestants. Elvis Presley at the International Hotel in Las Vegas in the year 1969. He appears in one of his most striking moments on stage during his return to live performances. The image reflects the charisma and energy that made him a world icon of music. Marilyn Monroe is photographed dancing with elegance and joy, revealing the charisma that established her as one of the greatest icons of cinema. With a light dress and a charming smile, she moves naturally, radiating confidence and charm. Marilyn Monroe is photographed after a press conference in London in 1956. Wearing an elegant, light-colored coat and smiling discreetly, she walks among journalists and admirers who follow her attentively. The trip was part of the promotion of the movie The Prince and the Showgirl, filmed alongside Laurence Olivier. Brigitte Bardot in 1955, during the beginning of her film career. She appears with the classic look that would make her an international icon of style and elegance. The image reflects the charm and confidence that marked her presence on screen. Sean Connery and Brigitte Bardot meeting for the first time in Deauville in France in 1968, before the start of the filming of the movie Shalako. Both appear relaxed and smiling, reflecting the meeting of two great international film stars at the height of their careers. Ozzy Osbourne and his first wife Thelma on their wedding day in 1971. The couple appears in formal attire, reflecting the typical style of the early 1970s, with striking clothing and long hairstyles that symbolize the youth and freedom of the time. Liza Minnelli is seen at the legendary Studio 54 in New York during the 1970s. The place was known for bringing together celebrities, artists, and musicians in a vibrant and energetic environment. The actress and singer, an icon of film and music, appears relaxed amid the glamorous atmosphere of the time. Halle Berry was photographed in 1992 at the beginning of her rise in Hollywood, a period when she began to stand out for her talent and elegance. The actress already drew attention for striking roles and for her presence at events and award ceremonies. Actor Al Pacino in an old record made before he achieved fame in cinema. The event occurred when he was young and still seeking his path in artistic life. Later, he became one of the most respected performers in the history of world cinema. Kurt Cobain when he was an 8th grade student in 1981. He appears playing the drums, demonstrating his interest in music from an early age. The record was made at a time of discovery and learning. Grace Kelly, Princess of Monaco, and her husband, Prince Rainier III, were photographed while shopping in Lausanne in Switzerland in 1956. The couple drew the attention of local residents who watched them with curiosity and admiration. Jim Carrey during Christmas of 1967, still a child. He appears smiling in a festive family setting. The image reflects the joy typical of the holiday season. The setting shows decorations and an atmosphere of togetherness. In 1983, Justine Bateman celebrated her 17th birthday, surrounded by friends and young stars of American television. Among the guests were Sarah Jessica Parker from the series Square Pegs, Carrie Michelson from Give Me a Break, Jason Bateman from Silver Spoons, Michael J. Fox from Family Ties, and Mindy Cohn from The Facts of Life. Actress Markie Post during the 1980s, in a period of great prominence in her career in American television. Known for her charisma and talent, Markie became a popular figure in successful productions such as The Fall Guy and Night Court. A scene from the movie Avenue of Hope, Il Viale della Speranza, produced in Italy in 1953 and directed by Dino Risi. The image shows part of the cast during one of the shoots, highlighting the realistic and emotional style characteristic of post-war Italian cinema. The 1970s, portraying the distinctive and relaxed style of the time. A man in a blue suit with a mustache stands next to a smiling woman dressed elegantly and holding a glass, while another woman in the background speaks on the telephone while sitting on a bed with a patterned bedspread. George Jenkins, founder of the public supermarket chain, in one of his stores located in Lakeland in Florida in the year 1963. Jenkins appears smiling, wearing a suit and tie, observing the operation of the establishment that represented his vision of innovation and quality in food retail. A vehicle of the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company during the 1950s, a period when the company was one of the main forces in the exploration and distribution of oil in the Middle East. The automobile, with the company logo printed on the side, reflects the robust and functional style of the time, designed to face long distances and arid terrain in the oil regions of Iran. A drive-in diner in the city of Los Angeles during the 1950s, a period when this kind of restaurant became an icon of American culture. Classic cars are parked around the place, while uniformed waiters and waitresses serve customers directly at the windows of the vehicles. A milkman leaving bottles of milk at a house door during the 1950s, a common scene in many residential neighborhoods of that time. The professional carries a metal basket full of glass bottles, delivering the fresh product every morning, even before the residents wake up. Mrs. Coleman doing laundry in the farming community of Irwinville Farms in the state of Georgia in May 1938. She appears focused on her work, using a wooden tub and handmade soap in a simple rural setting. A family of farmers gathered for dinner in 1940. They appear seated at the table, sharing a simple homemade meal. The image reflects the value of unity and work in the countryside. The setting shows objects and utensils typical of rural life of the time. A Christmas dinner held in 1936, with a simple meal made with care. On the table there are potatoes, cabbage, and pie, dishes common to that period. The image reflects the importance of being together, even with few resources. Students of the Log Cabin School, recorded at the beginning of the 20th century. They appear gathered in front of a small wooden school, typical of the rural communities of the time. The image reflects the value of education, even in simple and remote places. The setting shows curious faces dedicated to learning. A group of children on tricycles in the streets of Brooklyn during the 1930s. They appear smiling and having fun in a simple moment of daily life. The image reflects the joy and creativity of childhood in past times. Children play in the streets of a small town in France in 1934 in a scene full of energy and innocence. They run and laugh, enjoying the day outdoors among stone houses and narrow streets. Shows Egyptian women walking along a busy street in Cairo in the 1950s. They appear wearing clothes typical of the time amid the vibrant pace of the city. Shows a Soviet mother with her 4 twin children, photographed in the Soviet Union in 1956. The woman appears calm and proud, surrounded by the children dressed identically, which reinforces the charm and rarity of the scene. An Italian woman newly arrived in the United States in 1905, accompanied by her family. The record was made at Ellis Island in New York, a place of arrival for many immigrants. The image represents the beginning of a new stage in search of opportunities. People enjoying the sun during the month of June of 1922. They appear seated on benches and lawns, enjoying a calm day outdoors. The image reflects the custom of gathering in squares and parks for moments of rest. The man known as the strongest in Europe was photographed in 1955, displaying an impressive physique and a confident smile. The record shows the height of an era in which strength contests and weightlifting gained popularity across the continent. Photographer Margaret Bourke-White is portrayed taking a photograph from the top of a building in 1935. Equipped with her camera, she balances on a metal structure, demonstrating courage and dedication to her work. A photograph by Berenice Abbott, made in 1948, shows a woman connecting wires in an IBM computer. The scene portrays the behind-the-scenes of the early era of computing, when machines filled entire rooms and required detailed manual operation. A scene recorded in California in 1960 shows the vibrant daily life of one of the most remarkable decades of the 20th century. Busy streets, classic cars, and people wearing elegant clothing reflect the optimism and economic growth of the period. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, please use the Super Thanks tool below. Your contribution helps us keep bringing you amazing historical content. Thank you so much for your support, and see you in the next video.